Hey there everybody, redxparasite here, and welcome back to Let's Play Metroid Prime 3. In the last episode, we lowered the shield around the pirate homeworld and allowed the Federation to start their assault. But before we go and assist them with that, we're going to be going around and doing some item cleanup. Starting off with Norion here. So there's a missile expansion right behind the landing site. And there's a grapple hook that you can take here if you want, but you can use the screw attack if you really want to impress all your friends. Okay, so beyond that, we do have the suit locations for Norion, you know, revealed to us. So I think what I'm going to do is, let's see, is there one in this room? Okay, no, there isn't. Alright. I'm going to take my ship and actually fly to one of the other landing sites because there's one that we need to get right in one of those sites. And I don't think we've actually seen the planet-to-planet travel on Brio, or not Brio, on Norion yet. You know, when we're flying between landing sites on the same planet. So let's give that a try here. We also actually haven't flown our ship away from this particular landing site yet, so enjoy this cutscene as well. But yeah, this one's actually different than the other ones. Instead of seeing the outside of your ship flying, you actually see Samus inside of the cockpit flying the ship, which is a really cool thing. It's, you know, different, but it's a welcome different thing. So at this landing site, there's a spider ball track over here on the side. So if you go into Morph Ball, right up this, there should be, I think it's a missile expansion, at the top of this. So there's actually a hole here, so I think you can... Nope, the game does not let you boost out of there. So we're going to have to take the long way back. It's not really that long, especially when you have the boost ball, but would be longer than just going out of that hole. So now we're gonna head back because there's nothing new along this path to Generator C, aside from the one missile in there. So we'll just go along to that point. And actually, the one thing that's different now that we come back here is there are actually, you know, Federation people working on fixing some of the damage from the space pirate assault. So that's, you know, that's a cool little thing. I don't think we need to scan any of them at this point. We have all the scans that we need. Let's see. I'm going to double check here to make sure that we've got all of these scans. Those were the 3 bounty hunters that we met along our adventure. Okay, so we'll just get in here, or not. And hopefully, yeah, we'll boost through quickly enough that we won't get pushed out. Okay, so first things first, we're going to take a left here and grab that one, it's a missile expansion in this room. And then we'll double back and go to that new area. Because that's the path to Generator B that, you know, if you remember, Rundus took. And he took care of that generator for us back when Norion was under attack by the space pirates. So, nope. We got 75% of all the pickups with that. So we unlock one of the 2 special endings. The other one you get for getting 100% of the items, which of course we will be doing as well. But yeah, it's a completely unexplored area of Norion for us. So one thing that I do kind of like about saving this area for later is, well, we'll talk to this guy first.
Hey, Samus. You may want to rethink heading into this section of the facility. The area beyond this door is overrun with spent phazon from the initial pirate invasion. The locking mechanism was damaged and is currently inoperable. It is scheduled for repairs, but considering what's on the other side, I'm not surprised the welding engineers haven't gotten around to fixing it yet.
Well, you know, we're Samus Aran. We'll be fine. But one of the reasons I like to save exploring this area until after I have the Nova Beam is you can actually, still do the welding stuff with the Nova Beam. So we get green fire, from it, which looks really cool. So you don't really have many opportunities to do this because most of the welding that you need to do is before you get the Nova Beam. So it's a cool little thing. So yep, there is a missile expansion here. And this one's a bit tricky because these panels are kind of random. They will flash before they pop out. So just look at the ones that are going to flash. And, you may have to wait a little bit in order to get through. Aside from that, it's not really too bad. Okay, so in this room, which is... See, these guys are a new enemy for us. Liquid phazon spawns phazon grubs. So it's just called liquid phazon. Appears to be a semi-sentient glob of phazon. They're young or known as phazon grubs and eventually metamorph into their adult or puddle form. They exude a toxic chemical to protect themselves from predators. Contact with the substance can be deadly. They can alter their shape in a limited fashion, usually to avoid incoming attacks. So these enemies, if they... Oh, let's see. Okay, we have scanned the phazon grubs before. They kind of are reminiscent of the inglets from Prime 2, in that while they're not in their puddle form moving around, they will stop to try to attack you. So I think one charge Nova Beam shot will take them out. At least I'm pretty sure that's what they did. I mean, they do spawn in those phazon grubs. They can be a bit hard to pin down, but they really aren't all that strong, so they're not too much of a threat. So there is an ice missile door here, and inside there are 3 scans that we can get, or 2 scans, I guess. So the game gives you this list of special access codes. So if you enter them into one of the keypads somewhere else, then some special things will happen. So there will be one more of those coming up, so we can try out some of those codes on that one. Other than that, I think the only other ones that you really see are at the beginning, and we can't go back to the GFS Olympus. Okay, so Galactic Federation data file. This is Skytown. Skytown is a network of advanced structures floating in the atmosphere of planet Elysia. Most of the base is dedicated to research from a local to interstellar level. The powerful sensors of Skytown provide useful military intelligence data along with research information. An Aurora unit analyzes the vast amount of data collected by the station. It is supported by the Elysians, a group of sentient mechanoids that live within the base. And I'll bet my dollar that the other one is on Brio. Federation scouts discovered the planet Brio 10 years ago. The planet's alignment makes most of its surface uninhabitable. 48% of the world is always exposed to the sun, while another 48% shrouded in permanent night. The remaining 4% lies in an equatorial ring of fertile jungle, where the bulk of Brio's bioforms dwell. Fuel gel is common on Brio, which makes it extremely important to the Federation. The local bioforms are quite primitive, though there are ruins that indicate an advanced culture thrived on Brio in centuries past. So make sure that you pick up those 2 scans. And we can make our way further into this area. Okay, so in this particular area, the door is going to lock behind you. So this is a forced fight. And there's that growth of Phazon over there. It's going to spawn in, I think they're called Phazon hoppers, if I recall correctly. They are a new enemy. We haven't seen them before. So, we already scanned the shield. Let's get the scan for these guys. Of course, you can't actually scan the enemy once it enters hyper mode. Hopping Metroid. Okay, so I got that wrong. Uses razor-sharp talons in battle susceptible to cold-based attacks. Radical mutation has removed the ability to fly from the strain of Metroid, but its vulnerability to cold remains. Subject now uses powerful legs for locomotion. Legs contain sharp formations of phasite, which the creature uses to slice through enemy defenses. So, given that it's a weakness to cold, let's try freezing it once our missiles actually hit. Okay, that is pretty darn effective. The regular Nova Beam will also be fairly effective on these guys. Now, I think you just have to take out a certain number of them. It will spawn into new ones. You can see them on our radar there. There we go. Yeah, you can just take them out with the Charged Nova Shot. So there are benefits to holding off on this area. You can technically do it once you have the Plasma Beam. But there are definitely some good reasons not to. Just because, you know, it'll make your life easier if you wait. Actually, a lot of Phazon Metroids here. Not Phazon Metroids, but hopping Metroids. I don't know why I said Phazon. I mean, they technically do, you know, have Phazon in them because they're. You know, this is the game where everything is corrupted and everything, you know, has Phazon abilities. Hopefully that'll be the last of them. There we go. Once you defeat them all, that mass will disappear, and it'll also let you use this landing site. Spawns in some liquid Phazons as well. How am I not hitting you? That was kind of strange. There we go. It can be hard to tell where the hitbox for these are, so I think if you scan this is a secret lock. Yeah. So you have to hit them all at the same time. Before we go, however, there is a scan here which is pretty easy to miss. You're going to need to screw attack off of this ramp in order to get into this area. And sitting at the end of it is the scan. So this is the Valhalla incident. The GFS Valhalla was on a training mission after receiving her new crew at Tivus. We believe the Valhalla was ambushed en route to the training base by a fleet of pirate vessels. Data suggests the pirates were using upgraded starships powered by Phazon. That plus superior numbers were more than the Valhalla could handle. The current whereabouts of the Valhalla are unknown. She's presumed destroyed in action. So since that scan or that log was written, they have since located the Valhalla and we know where it is. Okay, so in this room, gotta go through it using the morph ball, which makes me wonder, how did Rundus get through here? I mean, presumably this hallway wasn't blocked off, but, you know, he doesn't have an alternate form like Samus does, or at least we're not aware of him having one of those. So the other reason why I suggest waiting off or holding off on this area until you have the Nova Beam is that there's another Metroid Hatcher fight in this room. And this is not a very big room. And so fighting the Metroid Hatcher in here can be a pretty big pain. So that's why. Just target its weakness, kill it instantly, save yourself a lot of trouble. And once you defeat it, all the baseline growth around the generator will be destroyed. And it grants us access to an energy cell. So that will be the 7th one out of 9. And I think it's the last item that we have to collect here on Brio. So you're going to need to go through the Morph Ball tunnel here in order to access it. At least I'm pretty darn sure. Yeah, because I don't think you can get through that otherwise. Alright, and will that free us? Oh, okay, you actually have to do that to leave the room. Yeah, it looks like we're not going to be able to get through. So back into the tunnel we go. Okay, and luckily for us, we are actually right near a landing site, so we can just take that to leave.
Data received.
So this is our first time seeing this, so we can't skip this cutscene. And it'll be the same thing with actually leaving the area too. Alright, we haven't saved in a while, so we'll do it just to be safe. And then our next destination is going to be Brio. There's actually a few areas on Brio that we have not been to, and they're fairly large areas. But the reason that I held off on... I think I must have tapped B during that. The reason that I didn't go to them is because we needed upgrades that we did not yet have in order to fully clear out the area. So our first destination is actually going to be Fiery Brio and Brio Ice. So there's one upgrade left in each of those areas that we couldn't get until now. Well, we could technically get one of them sooner, but it's more efficient to just wait. Of course, I will admire the star backgrounds. Okay, so since we're going to Brio Ice, we're going to head through this area normally. Oop. I don't know how those missed me. I was standing pretty still, but I won't complain. So yeah, as I was saying, the hazard shield will actually protect us from fuel gel, as well as the acid rain. So that is another perk to the hazard shield, and we will actually get some use out of it. It's not going to be a ton, but it will help us out in at least one situation. Actually, there are two at least that I can think of. For now, though, let's get up into this area so that we can get over to Brio Ice. There we go. Like, kind of surprised the first bomb didn't actually take care of them all. Okay, so let's take this teleporter. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to skip the loading either. But hey, at least we're back on Brio Ice. It's one of my favorite areas in the game visually. Along with I actually like Norion a lot too. And you know, Alicia's also pretty cool. You know, for not having, oops. Let's see. Actually, I think that was okay. But for not having your kind of standard, you know, themed areas, the game's visual design is pretty good, and it's also fairly distinct from the other two games. You know, obviously, this area is very reminiscent of Fintronic Drifts, but it still has, you know, some of the unique things about. I overshot it twice. Has some of the unique things about Brio, you know, that kind of set it aside from just being a direct rip-off of Fintronic Drifts. Okay, so there's a spider-ball track here that we couldn't do anything about last time, and you know, if we'd been able to, then we would not have had to come back all the way here, but fortunately, got to do some backtracking. Let's see. Okay, we just need to roll. Oops. I do like how they kind of incorporated the boost ball into this one a little bit more. And it's also neat how we're kind of in the middle of. Can I? No, I can't get that to work. So we're inside the wall here too. So they definitely did some more creative things with this track. And for going through all that trouble, we get an energy tank, and we're actually only missing 2 of those now. So we're getting, I think we're not quite at 80% of the items, but we're getting close. And I actually almost broke my direction there by trying to do a trick shot on the door before I jumped. So let's check our item completion. Yeah, we're at 78. So that's all we have left to do here in Brio Ice. You know, it's sadly a small area compared to the other sections of Brio. All right, so I actually think this will be a good place to end off this episode. So thank you very much for watching. I've been redxparasite, signing out.